Tomorrow evening, darkness will descend on the Stade de France and the spotlight will turn to these two great rugby nations as Ireland face New Zealand, both vying to secure a place in a Rugby World Cup semi-final. Last time out, Ireland took the spoils, winning a test series over in New Zealand 2-1, but now the All Blacks have the ultimate chance at revenge and will be looking to knock Ireland out of the Rugby World Cup quarter-finals for the second time running. It really is a game not to be missed, with both Ian Foster and Andy Farrell naming really strong teams, which I'll be looking through and identifying the key matchups in this video. As always, please do let me know your thoughts on the game and who you think the key matchups from 1 to 15 will be. As I say, there's plenty of matchups all over the board, which should be a really good watch. Now, if the test series was anything to go off, it should be a very entertaining game. Should see a good few tries scored as well, so weather permitting, that should be very entertaining. Start off with the front rows, as always. Ian Foster named a slightly changed front row with De Groot and Lomax coming in at loosehead and tight head, with Cody Taylor at hooker, whereas Andy Farrell goes with the consistent front row of Porter, Sheehan and Furlong. Ian Foster will be very happy to have the likes of De Groot and Lomax up for selection this week. I believe De Groot's come back from a ban and I believe Lomax come back from an injury, so look, they'll be firing on all cylinders and a really good asset to that New Zealand team. Good solid scrummagers and add up quite a lot off of the ball as well, and they're very good attackers, so delighted that Ian Foster can name his strongest front row. And then for Ireland, look, Andy Farrell stayed consistent with that front row. It's got to be one of the best, if not the best front rows in the world. You've got the power. Look, I was going to say the power of Porter, but the power does run throughout that front row. Then you've got the mobility and speed of Sheehan, the handling of Furlong, the ability to put all these little tip passes in. They really do complement each other very well. Moving into the second rows, Retallick and Scott Barrett face Byrne and Henderson. Two really quality second rows. Second rows in which do actually like to do a lot rather than just jump in lineouts and attack and defend. They love their tip passes. They love the ability to attack a little bit wider out. You look at Retallick and Byrne, two second rows with some real good pace on them. Look, Byrne's one of my favourite players. Look, the ability for him to jackal over the ball, to be able to run in space, just to be able to do everything really well is very impressive. And then Retallick, look, he's very experienced now, but he definitely reminds me of the sort of Tyke Byrne model player. Both very tall, but they both can do a lot around the field. Look at Scott Barrett there and Ian Henderson. As opposed to their other second rows, they're probably a little bit more powerful and definitely added something a little bit different to their team. Scott Barrett is one physical player and definitely loves a big carry and a big tackle. Ian Henderson coming in for James Ryan, the injured James Ryan, which unfortunately was not available for selection. But Henderson is by no means a bad replacement, bringing a lot of experience, power and expertise into that second row role, especially at line-out time. Moving into the back rows, you've got Frizzell against O'Mahony, Kane against Josh van der Fleer, and the big one, Ardie Savea against Caelan Doris, which there was a good split in the comment section below with which player you'd select out of Savea and Doris. I think Doris just edged it, but two incredible players. Now, potentially underrated matchup with Frizzell against O'Mahony. Frizzell's probably the more attacking player, loves to carry the ball and get out in the wide expanses. I mean, Peter O'Mahony does like to get into the wide expanses, but probably doesn't quite have the pace of Frizzell. But O'Mahony definitely makes up for that with the grit of getting over that ball, winning vital turnovers, and is an absolute tackling machine. Not only does he do that, but he's superb at the line-out, one of the best line-out jumpers in terms of going up at the front, very explosive, and can definitely nick some line-out ball if you're not careful. And then at 7, Kane, the All Blacks captain, against Josh van der Fleer, World Player of the Year. Two really solid number 7s. Sam Kane usually gets a little bit of stick in New Zealand media, I believe, from getting his selection based upon being the captain, but I do feel in recent times he's definitely proved his worth. And then Josh van der Fleer, there's not many words to say. A phenomenal player who can do everything really on a rugby pitch, more than what you'd expect from a number 7. You usually see a number 7, especially going back some years, that would specialise either in the breakdown, tackling, or be a good attacker. But now the back rows are really required to do it all, and Josh van der Fleer fits this modern mould perfectly. He can ball carry very effectively, good over the ball, and loves to make a tackle. So real good all-rounder there. And I'm not going to speak about the number 8 duo because I think we've done that enough. But Savea Doris, just an absolutely huge collision course. And look, it's a shame that they probably won't be running at each other much because there's 7 other forwards to run into in the forward pack. But if they do run into each other, it'll be a good watch. Look, moving into the back line, you've got Smith against Jamison Gibson Park. Aaron Smith being one of the All Blacks legends, really. A real phenomenal player going over the decades. With Jamison Gibson Park being less experienced but in a real streak of fine form. Look, the speed of ball from the breakdown will be huge for their teams respectively. So Smith and James at Gibson Park will be really looking to balance the speed of ball with the element of controlling the game and box kicking well. So a lot of pressure on the scrum halves in this game. Look, if you look at the second rows, I'm sure the likes of Byrne and Retallick or Scott Barrett would love to charge down a box kick or two, so they'll have to be red hot on their game and making sure their blockers are in place. At fly half, another mouth-watering contest between Mo'unga and Sexton. Richie Mo'unga probably the more attacking player with some good feet and speed and the ability to find space, but Sexton, he is the ultimate general on a rugby field. This could in fact be his last game of rugby, so maybe the Irish team will feast upon that sort of emotional energy, but I guess if the All Blacks were to get knocked out, they'd probably lose Mo'unga as well. So look, a lot on the line for these teams, but going back to it, Sexton, the ultimate general, he fits into that Irish team so perfectly and really fits the structure and mould, and the way he organises his team is simply sublime. Moving into the centres, Geordie Barrett against Bundee Aki. What a set of inside centres that is, and it'll be an absolute quality contest with a real fight for the gain line. Going back over a couple seasons, you'd see Geordie Barrett moving into the 12 jersey from fullback, and he's turned into one of the best inside centres in the world. And then you look at the informed Bundee Aki, who's just gone from strength to strength in this tournament, scored a fair few tries as well, and will be looking to make his impression on the game. As I say, the battle for the gain line will be a real big contest. And then to contrast that at 13, both of these teams really do complement their inside centre well. You've got Ioane for the All Blacks, who has so much pace, coming off of the wing in recent years, probably a few years ago now actually, and has made a real solid number 13. His ability to work in the wide channels, be able to make meters literally on every single carry, really does set him apart from a lot of number 13s. But then you have Gary Ringrose, a player that is so well rounded when it comes to defence, is so knowledgeable, reads the game so well, and once again fits into that nicely oiled Irish machine so well. And Bundee Aki and Ringrose really do work a treat, and we've seen that in the warm-up games and in the Rugby World Cup pool stages. Moving into the back three, Leicester Fainga'anuku comes in at 11 for Mark Telea. Now, look, I've not heard anything official, but I've heard this is due to disciplinary reasons. So look, Fainga'anuku has been playing some real quality stuff in Super Rugby, and has had a couple good games in the pool stages so far. I can't remember who it was against. I think it probably was maybe it was Italy or maybe Namibia. He loves to carry that ball from the ruck, just pick and go. As soon as there's been a line break, find the ruck as quick as possible, pick and go, make another 5 metres and crash over the whitewash. So look, he's a different player to Mark Telea, probably not quite as evasive, but he makes up for that in such raw power and finishing ability. His opposite number, James Lowe. Look, I didn't think Lowe and Hansen would really be fit for this game, but thankfully they are. It's always good at a quarter-final to have two teams that name their strongest lineup, so there's no complaints, and both teams can put their best foot forward. But James Lowe, instrumental in the Irish team. I've got a huge left boot on him, which will be important for Ireland exiting their own half, and also his ability in the kicking duels to try and win territory against the likes of Beauden Barrett and Will Jordan, who will be participating equally in the kicking battle. At number 14 for the All Blacks, Will Jordan, a phenomenal player, one of the best wingers in the world. His ability to look like he's travelling so fast, to travel so fast whilst he's looking like he's not even trying, is just ridiculous. He just glides across the pitch. I remember, I think it was a third test against Ireland, he scored an absolute worldie going 75 metres to score from an inside ball from Adi Sarvea. So look, the Irish will have to keep a close eye on him and not give him too much free space, because if you give him an inch, he will take an absolute mile. Matt Hansen, who I alluded to maybe not being quite fit for this game, I think it was a calf injury, but look, it's good to see him on the team sheet. I've written him off before. Look, people always used to ask amongst my friends, like, who's probably the weakest Irish player? They've got such a strong team, who's the weakest? I probably usually say Hansen, but he's completely put that argument to bed. Looking at the team, I don't know if there is a weak player on the starting 15. Actually, I know there definitely isn't, but Matt Hansen, really phenomenal player, gone from strength to strength, really good finisher, and is very good under the high ball as well. I think the box kicking battle will be an interesting one in this game. Both teams like to put the ball in the air and compete for it, so look, it'll be interesting to see how Jordan, Fainga'anuku, Lowe and Hansen hold up under the high balls, as well as the fullbacks as well. Fullback for All Blacks, Beauden Barrett, moving from fly half a few seasons ago. He really fits into the All Blacks team really nicely, with the ability to play the dual playmaker role with Richie Mo'unga. And there's a lot of talk about Damien McKenzie coming into the All Blacks starting 15. who's just an incredible attacking player and a brilliant player all round. But Boden Barrett holds onto his shirt. I think the continuity in selection really is important, especially at this stage in the tournament. And look, Ireland love, and Andy Farrell loves to keep the same starting 15. And look, I think from the Ian Foster side, it's dangerous to be changing up too much at this stage in the tournament. And for Ireland at fullback, the ever reliable Hugo Keenan, phenomenal player all round. I've previously alluded to him being not the best in the world at sort of a single aspect, but just in terms of being like well-rounded, he's just phenomenal. He can really do it all. And one of my favourite things about watching Keenan play is when he decides to challenge the line and run it from fullback. He really doesn't break his stride, and he will really try and identify a gap and not change his pace at all, and just keep going at full tilt to try and break through the defence, which is a real good watch. So look, those are the starting 15s. I'm just going to whiz through the benches so I don't take up too much time. For the All Blacks, you've got Coles, Williams, Newell, Whitelock and Papali'i for the forwards. And then moving into the backs, you've got Christie, McKenzie and Leonard Brown. I was a little bit surprised to see Christie on the reserves bench. I thought Cam Roigard was deserved of his opportunity, but fair enough. Maybe go with Christie because he's had a few more caps and it's an important game. But yeah, I was a little bit surprised. Then ultimately you've got the game changer McKenzie to come off the All Blacks, which will be very dangerous as bodies start to tire. For Ireland, you've got Kelleher, Kilcoyne, Beelum, Joe McCarthy, who was a name I don't previously remember seeing on a team sheet. So please do sort of enlighten me on his selection. Who does he play for? And how's he playing at the moment in terms of his form. And then Conan is the last forward on the Irish bench. He'll probably come on for Omani, I think, usually about 60-65 minutes, so they can keep Doris on the field as well to add another ball carrier into the mix, which is a dangerous prospect itself. And then Murray, Crowley and Jimmy O'Brien are on the reserves bench for the backline for Ireland. So look, both teams have gone with 5-3 splits, so the Irish will not have to worry about a 7-1 split this time. Two real solid lineups with good strong benches as well. In terms of the previous score, it was 32 points to 22 in the third test in 2022 to Ireland. So Ireland came away with 10-point victors last time. In terms of what the bookies predict for this one, they predict Ireland to win by 2 points. So look, it really could go down to the wire. I'm trying to delay the fact that I've probably got to make a prediction as well. If I had to make my choice, I'd go Ireland by 5 points. I believe if New Zealand turn up, they can cause huge problems for the Irish defence, but the Irish defence so far has been so solid, and the Irish attackers look so fluid off first phase and second phase as well. So looks two really strong teams in which it could come right down to the wire. An interesting fact was, I believe Ireland scored first in all 3 of the test matches in 2022, in the summer of 2022, against the All Blacks in New Zealand's back garden. So look, maybe that's something we'll see repeat itself in this game. New Zealand will want to get off to a really fast start and put a dent in the Irish confidence, but I'm sure Ireland will want to do the exact same thing. Where the game will be won and lost for me will be the breakdown, the ability for the back row to get over that ball, slow the ball down for the opposing team and secure turnovers. For the All Blacks, they've got some good jackalers in there with Kane and Sarver, and then you look at Ireland, you've got Byrne, Doris, Van der Fleer, Omani, some real good jackalers in there as well. So look, it's going to be a real good game, and I think ultimately, apart from the breakdown, it will come down to the execution. Each team will have their chances in this game, and it's ultimately down to who takes them best. It's going to be an absolutely thrilling watch. I simply cannot wait. Probably the game of the weekend, or maybe that'll be South Africa against France. But look, it should be an entertaining watch. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Lock your score predictions in, and I'll get back to all the comments as always. But enjoy the game, and thank you very much for watching.